Guys, good morning. OJ here with the Fight Rope Fitness team, the one and only walk, run, and jump. We actually like to use the French press to consume a little bit, 4 ounces of caffeine almost every morning just to start the day. But we wanted to come today. I wanted to come and sit with you and talk about what is Fight Rope, who is Fight Rope, who's OJ, who's Orlando Jimenez. Where did it all start? Where did it all come from? I could say it started with my father. My father was my first coach. My father was an amateur wrestler up and through high school. My father was also an amateur boxer and later became a professional boxer. So by the time I was 6, 7 years old, of course, I took an interest to the sport of boxing, the sport of wrestling. And one of the tools that my dad would always use, even until this day, um, and growing up, coming home from work, my dad would always use a jump rope. And he would jump rope in the garage, whether it was in his work boots or he would switch out of his work boots into his actual tennis shoes, his Reeboks. He had these classic Reeboks. Would jump rope, shadow box, hit the bag, and finish with a run. But the tool that I always was enamored by was the jump rope, and that is because the movement that I would see my father display to his selected brand of music or selected genre of music, and I would just watch him as a kid dance around with this tool, with this jump rope, making it do whatever he wanted it to do, commanding it to do whatever he wanted it to do while spinning through, jumping up, down to the ground, circling back and forth. It was for me watching my dad jump rope, to be honest, was something amazing. It was just something special for me because I just found something that I knew I was going to love forever. And if you ever had that as a kid, that you knew this one thing or that thing is something that's just going to always be tied to your childhood or your life, or for me, just basic movement, confidence, having confidence that I can skip and I can continue to skip. And then when there's competitions, jump rope for hearts at the school, I was always prepared because I was always in the garage learning and getting better and being the beginner mindset, being the student, always the white belt. To this day, I'm just still learning and having fun with jumping rope, and thus is the reason why I created Fight Rope during the pandemic to give something back to the community that was gifted to me in my life. I traveled with a jump rope all around the world from 18, 19, and 20 years old living in the Middle East to 21 competing in Canada in international wrestling for the United States Navy to college wrestling to fighting in the Middle East. I've always had a jump rope or a business class that I have currently as an MBA student and soon to be doctoral student. I will always have a jump rope in my bag and a jump rope on my person or a jump rope in my fanny pack or a jump rope on my wall because it's just a part of my DNA of who I am, and that you're worth fighting for, that your life is worth fighting for, that it is the fighter's rope. You choose to get up every day and compete. You choose to go after your goals, your visions, what empowers you and what helps you to empower others. And for me, the tool or the gift that I was given as a child was the jump rope and is the jump rope. So that's what I look to give back to the community, to children, to my children's friend, adults, elderly, community members, hosting seminars at the YMCA, at the Salvation Army Croc Center, at the local gyms, at the high schools, at my son's basketball games, my daughter's volleyball games, and my son's wrestling tournaments and practices. It's an all encompassing tool because for every sport or every walk of life where you're moving, you're going to incorporate balance, coordination, timing, distance, range, listening, active listening to the tick of that rope as you're moving, as you're turning left, right, jumping up, down, double unders, squatting, whatever it is that you're doing, what it's teaching you is to make that same movement in life. You're walking, you're running, and now you're jumping. So I take that philosophy into everything I do, that my life is in my hands, just like the two jump rope handles are in your hand, and it's worth fighting for, and you're worth fighting for. So my mission moving forward is to continue to teach that, to continue to give that to children, to adults, young adults, adults my age, older adults, elderly, to show that movement is a key to life. Movement is very much a part of life, and having an abundant life and a healthy life and a transformational life where there's constant stretching and growing physically, mentally, psychologically. But the Fight Rope Fitness program and movement, and now the development of our app, is going to be to continuously give an educational content, tutorials, Q&As, live sessions where you can sit with me, where we can discuss what your goals are, what movement means to you, what moving the body and what moving the mind means to you in your pursuit of whatever it is that you're doing in your life, whether it be a sport, music, school, academics, athletics, work, business. I'm someone who owns a small business in Fight Rope, who is a business student with an MBA program, soon to enter my doctoral of business. I'm always going to be someone of a student of the sport or of movement, because I have to make movements in every part of my life. And that's what the Fight Rope represents for me. That's what I remember receiving, where you're going to mess up. You're going to skip incorrectly. You're going to make a move and know that the timing was off. You're going to have to correct that in real time or in due time. It's a progress, and we trust the process in the Fight Rope Fitness program. And for myself, at 40 years old, I'm only getting better at jumping rope. And I've been jumping rope since I was 5 years old. So it's a fun concept, a fun way of interacting with your children, with your parents, with your friends, family, neighbors, where you can just show up to the park, the neighborhood park, or the family gathering and throw a rope and say, hey, who's ready to jump in? And that's always been something active. A part of my life is just physical activity and a way of sharing that bond between others in my family and friendships, to where I have professional friends in the fighting world and the commentating world who are glad enough and grateful and helpful enough to share that mission. And I can give a shout out to Dominic Cruz, to Jeremy Stevens, to Phil Davis, to Anthony Showtime Pettis. Thank you all for taking the opportunity to believe in the mission and to press forward, because the children are our future, kids are our future, and knowing their balance and coordination, something as minute as walking, but with confidence, is what I aim to share with all age groups, but especially children, because they're in that developmental stage of life where you're gathering knowledge of who you are, what you want to be, your friendships. Are you playing sports? Are you not? Can you ride a bike? How's your balance? I don't want to run on the soccer field because I might look funny. All those things matter, and all those things happen with children, even my very own children who are very athletic. My son is 15 years old, 6 foot, 185 pounds, great basketball player, but has those same thoughts and fears as any other child. My daughter is a 10-year-old volleyball player and wrestler, and I have a 7-year-old son who's a wrestler. Alexa, off. Those things matter. Those things do matter in their lives. Having the confidence to walk, to run, to jump. That's a part of the mission of Fight Rope, and that's what I bring forward and share with you. And that's what it's been such a big part of my life here now as an adult, where I'm still competing at 40 years old. This week, I leave to Greece on Monday and compete in a Veterans World Championships on Thursday, and then 2 days later, I fly to Saudi Arabia and I compete in MMA and the World Combat Games for 2 days, and then return home to be here with you to build furthermore Fight Rope. But I'm taking Fight Rope to other continents, to other the European continent, the Asian continent, and sharing the mission, sharing the vision with the world, and transforming lives one jump rope, one fight rope at a time. And I just ask that you trust in me, and tag along with me for the ride. And I thank you for your support. Those who have been around for these last 3 years, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It means so much to me for the growth and the community of what we're bringing forward, what we're wanting to share with the world. And thank you for being a part of the mission. Talk to you soon.